What was the craziest game of truth or dare you've ever played? When I was 10, I dared my friend to do something silly. I told him to touch my dad's hair while he was sleeping. He had to keep doing it until my dad woke up. Then my friend could only say one thing. He had to say, "Wow, your hair feels so very nice." No matter what my dad said or did, he could only respond with that sentence. Story 2. At my first job as a teen, 6 of us played a game during our break. There were 3 girls and 3 guys. The game was just starting to get a bit naughty. Someone asked one of the guys, "Have you ever touched yourself while thinking about someone from work?" He said yes. We all got very interested. The next time it was his turn, someone asked if he'd touched himself thinking about anyone playing the game. He said yes again. Then someone asked him to say who he'd thought about while touching himself. He looked at each of us and then said, "All of you." Story 4. I think my most exciting game of truth or dare was cut down in its prime when a guy dared his girlfriend to flash everyone and then broke down crying because now everyone had seen her bikini zone and he no longer felt special. Story 5. I once saw a man be intimate with a pile of snow. He was able to keep going until completion. That really proved how determined he was. Story 6. We were playing a game where people say things they've never done. If you've done it, you have to put a finger down. One of the boys said, "I've never gone down on a guy." All the girls put a finger down. Then he looked straight at my boyfriend and said, "You need to put a finger down too, bro." My boyfriend slowly put down one finger. That's the way that I found out my boyfriend had been with another boy behind my back. The worst part was everyone else playing knew about it except me. It got very quiet and awkward after that. Story 7. When I was about 10, I played a game with some older girls. They dared me to cover the principal's big house with toilet paper. All the girls came with me. My dad caught us trying to sneak out. The girls started to make up a story, but I told my dad the truth. "We're going to put toilet paper on a house," I said. My dad laughed and said, "Sounds like you need a grown-up to watch you. Let's go." We took 10 rolls of toilet paper and used it all on the house. It was a really fun night. Story 8. When I was 13, a girl dared my older brother to moon everyone. He pulled down his pants and bent over, but then he spread his cheeks as far open as he possibly could and did his best to open and close the hole. Everyone was disgusted. He thought that's what mooning someone meant. Story 9. We were playing a game with a group of girls. We were all about 13 to 14 years old. The nicest girl there, who had curly hair and freckles, got a really gross dare. She had to poop on a plate in front of everyone. She didn't even pause. She just laughed and asked for a plate. The girl whose house we were at kept the plate in her basement freezer for a few weeks. She said it was for science. Her mom found it later. I'm not sure if they threw the plate away or not. Story 10. We were playing truth or dare at a party. Someone dared me to open the door without clothes on when the pizza came. I thought it would be easy. The doorbell rang. I took off my clothes and got money for the pizza. But when I opened the door, it wasn't the pizza person. It was one of the girls' moms. She came to take her daughter home early. Her husband was a church leader. The mom was very surprised to see me without clothes. She called all the other kids' parents to come get them. The party ended really fast after that. Story 11. Last year during class, some girls were gathered together in a group. Suddenly, I heard one of them say my name. When I looked at them, they started laughing. One girl I'm friends with came over to me. She smiled and said this would only happen once and started to lean in close to me. Then, out of nowhere, she punched me right in the nuts. Story 12. We were playing with my cousins. I was about 13 and the others were close to my age. The game started out okay but got less nice as we played. Near the end, my girl cousin dared me to let her watch me use the bathroom standing up. She was curious how it worked. I did it because I didn't want to back down from a dare. Then I dared her to try using the bathroom standing up like a boy. She didn't want me to watch, so I said she could do it alone. She tried, but it didn't go well. It made a big mess on the floor and her legs. The game ended because she had to clean up. Story 13. It was around 1998. My friend got kicked out of his house. He had problems because he lived with mean parents, had Tourette's syndrome, and was shy. He also had girl trouble because he would fall in love with any girl who was nice to him. My family let him stay at our house for a few weeks. One night, he was lying on my bedroom floor. I knew he wanted to talk about his problems, but he liked to pretend it was a game in case he said something embarrassing. So I asked him, truth or dare, to help him open up. We talked for about 3 hours. I had to work in the morning, and he kept saying the same things over and over. To try and get some sleep, I told him, either you pick dare or I'm going to ignore you. For some reason, he picked dare. I had just gotten over being sick with bad bronchitis. On my bedside table, there was a jar of Vicks VapoRub, a strong-smelling medicine you rub on your chest when you're sick. Trying to think of something to end the game, I pointed at the jar and said, I dare you to rub this on your balls. He looked at it, opened it, and smelled it. Then he asked how much to use. I told him to use 2 fingers worth. He got a big glob and put his hand in his sleeping bag. When he took his hand out, he smelled it again and asked, what's that supposed to do? And then started breathing heavy. His eyes got big. He grabbed his private parts and curled up in a ball. I was laughing so hard I had to bury my face in my pillow so I wouldn't wake up my parents. Finally, I told him to go wash it off. My friend stood up in the sleeping bag and hopped to the bathroom. I heard him turn on the water full blast. After about 5 minutes, he came back, walking slowly with his hand on his crotch. He lay down and mumbled softly. It didn't help. Story 15. This happened in 5th grade during a game of truth or dare. It wasn't the best experience, but it's still a truth or dare story. My crush got dared to kiss me, but when she looked at me, she said, ew, gross, he's fat, and that was the end of it. Story 16. I was around 12 years old at a friend's sleepover. During a game of truth or dare, a kid who didn't like me much dared me to go home. I walked the 2 miles to my house. As I got to my driveway, I saw my older brother just pulling in. He had 3 baby raccoons with him. He explained he had accidentally hit their mother with his car while he was delivering pizzas. Instead of a boring sleepover, I got to spend the rest of the night with my brother, 3 baby raccoons, and a cheese and pepperoni pizza. We watched Nightmare on Elm Street together. Story 17. Someone dared me to catch a frisbee in my teeth from across the yard. I went outside and walked to the other side of the yard. A girl got ready to throw the frisbee. I thought to myself, well, this should be funny when it hits my face. But then, by total accident, I actually caught it in my teeth. Story 18. This happened when I was just starting middle school. At birthday parties, we were beginning to play Truth or Dare. We played a version that I think is called 7 Minutes in Heaven in the US. It was my turn to play. In my head, I was really hoping to be paired with the pretty girl I had a crush on. Instead, I got matched with a girl I didn't find attractive at all. I felt really disappointed. But then something unexpected happened. The girl suddenly started crying really hard. She ran out of the room, yelling something like, "Not with him." Story 19. This game of truth or dare was escalating way too fast. This wasn't even the worst thing that happened that night, but my gay friend accepted a dare to get it on with one of female friends. His boyfriend got him hard while she got into position. He mounts my friend and started pumping away. Oh my God, this actually feels great. He managed to get out before looking really ecstatic. She was enjoying herself as well. It got awkwardly sexy. It didn't really feel like truth or dare anymore. They were just straight up going at it. It didn't last long before he finished. "Oh my God, I can't believe I finished inside of you," he laughed. And she responded something like, "I can't believe we just did that. If I get pregnant, I'm going to kill you." The game went on. More awkwardness was had. But nothing topped the awkwardness of her calling him a week later, in tears, because she was indeed pregnant. The kid just turned 18 a couple weeks ago. Story 20. We were playing Truth or Dare, even though we were too old for it, about 20 years old. My friend had only seen boobs in his dad's old magazines. He hadn't even kissed a girl yet, Someone dared a woman to show everyone her breasts. My friend was secretly really excited. He didn't cheer out loud, but I could tell he was super happy inside. Just as the woman lifted her shirt, another guy accidentally moved in front of my friend, blocking his view. It was over before my friend could do anything. He complained about it for weeks afterward. We've laughed about this story for years now. It's one of the funniest things I've ever seen happen. Story 21. In my first or second year of college, my friends and I had a party after our big tests ended. There were about 7 of us, and we decided to drink alcohol to celebrate. As we started feeling the effects, one friend suggested we play Spin the Bottle. But since we were mostly couples with just one single guy, we chose to play Truth or Dare instead. The game started off normal, with easy dares like taking more drinks or saying who your favorite celebrity was. But then things got weird. The single guy dared one of the girls to lick whipped cream off his private parts. Her boyfriend nodded okay, so she was going to do it. But when she took off the guy's pants, she was surprised by how big he was down there. She yelled, "Wow, I've never seen one this big." Before she could even open the whipped cream, her boyfriend got really mad and tried to punch the other guy. Me and another friend had to stop the fight between the half-naked guy and the angry boyfriend. After we broke it up, everyone felt really awkward. As my girlfriend and I were leaving, she whispered to me she knew her boyfriend was sensitive about the size of his thing. Story 22. We were all in the hot tub at a girl's house, 3 guys and 3 girls. Someone dared me to go press my private parts against her parents' bedroom window. It was about 1 a.m. and the house was dark, so I thought it wouldn't be a big deal. I got out of the hot tub, ran to the window, took off my swimsuit, and pushed myself up against the glass for a few seconds. Then, as light from the pool reflected on the window, I saw something that scared me badly. Her parents were sitting right inside, watching us. They didn't move or blink, they just stared. It was terrifying. I could see them for a split second as the light passed over the glass. They were just inches away from me on the other side of the window. It felt like something from a scary movie. I gasped and ran back to the hot tub. I got in and just sat there, not saying anything. I was too shocked to speak. Story 23. In college, a bunch of us got together to play a game. We were drinking a lot. One guy dared another guy to fart in someone else's face. But it's not easy to fart when you want to, so this guy's trying really hard to fart. He's pushing and squeezing his stomach. Finally, he says, "Okay, I'm going to fart." He bent over and pointed his butt at the other guy's face. But instead of just farting, he accidentally pooped a little. It wasn't solid poop, but more like a spray of liquid poop. It went all over the other guy's face and head. It was like a sprinkler, but with poop instead of water. Story 24. This is a sad story from when I was younger. My younger cousin was visiting us. She came from a really bad home, but the authorities never did anything about it. I think she was about 6 or 7 years old at the time. My sister, my cousin, and I decided to play Truth or Dare. My sister dared my cousin to eat some cat food. We thought it would be gross but funny. Our cousin picked up some cat food and ate it without hesitating. We just stared at her, shocked. Then my sister asked her how she ate it so easily. Our cousin's answer really upset us. She said, "Oh, that's what we eat at home a lot." We were stunned. It turned out my uncle wasn't giving his children enough food, so they were eating cat food to survive. We were too young to understand how serious this was, so we didn't tell any adults about it. We regret that to this day. Story 25. This happened in college. We were playing Truth or Dare, and my friend was dared to run naked across the student housing area. It was winter, so it was really cold. We let him wear shoes for safety. We were on a small balcony on the 2nd floor of our apartment. My friend took off his clothes and opened the balcony door. He was going to climb over the rail and jump to the ground for his run. As he sat on the metal rail, facing out to jump, something bad happened. The skin around his private parts got stuck to the freezing metal rail. Someone joked about pushing him, but he yelled, "No," really loud. Luckily, no one pushed him, or he could have really hurt himself. We filled a bucket with warm water and poured it where he was stuck to help free him. Everyone agreed he didn't have to do the dare anymore. His hands were a bit hurt too, but that seemed less important compared to what almost happened to his private parts. I still get worried thinking about what could have happened if someone had pushed him or if he had lost his balance. We learned later that he was a bit sweaty before he took off his clothes, which is why he got stuck. Story 26. This happened when I was a freshman in high school. We were playing Truth or Dare, and sometimes we'd do double dares to make two people do things together. The group dared me to let an older, pretty girl do something weird. She had to gargle some Sprite soda and then spit it on my face. To be honest, I kind of liked it. It was definitely better than another dare I had before, where I had to suck on a hairy guy's nipple. But it wasn't as good as the time when a girl put her face between my girlfriend's breasts and shook her head. Story 27. When I was 13, my whole class was playing Truth or Dare around a table in the middle of the room. I was excited because the girl I liked was sitting across from me. Things got interesting when my childhood friend, a girl I grew up with, dared the girl I liked to hold my hand. The girl I liked started blushing and said she couldn't do it at first. Then the whole class started encouraging her, chanting, "Do it, do it!" Finally, she agreed and held my hand for about 5 seconds. I was really happy about it. I live in a country in Asia where people are more traditional about these things. So for junior high, this was about as exciting as it could get. We were playing a game where people dare each other to do things. Someone dared me to touch some cow poop. We call it a cow pie. I was just going to touch it with one finger, but the person who dared me suddenly pushed my whole hand into it. I got mad, so I grabbed a handful of the cow poop and threw it at them. Story 29. We were playing Truth or Dare in a hot tub once. A girl who was our friend dared me to get hard in front of everyone, so I stood up out of the tub and started touching myself. Suddenly, a bright light shined in my face from around the corner of the house. It turned out to be a police officer with a flashlight. Someone had called to complain about noise, so the police came to check. That's how I accidentally ended up touching myself in front of a police officer. Thank you for listening to these regrettable recaps. Please like and subscribe and comment below which was your favorite story. We'd also love to hear any stories that you have.